being born a boy who can only become a man by becoming stronger, overcoming fearfulness, earning the admiration and respect of other men, and being confident in your own abilities. That's what masculinity is. Over time, you develop this as a young man, as a boy. You go through rites of passage, and that's what makes you become a man. We don't really have rites of passage anymore like we did back in like the old days, like ancestral times. If you think of, so I'll use the movie 300 as an example. If you've ever seen 300, at the beginning of the movie, it's about the Spartans and like this war they had. At the beginning of the movie, they send out their young men, like I'm talking boys, to go out and live on their own, like hunting and stuff, to fully recognize them as a man. They're not recognized as a man until they go and do this. And that's what a rite of passage is. There's things that tribes would do to recognize their boys into becoming a man, to show their manhood. And we don't have anything like that anymore. And you got to kind of make your own rite of passage. There's still cultures and religions that use rites of passages, like Jews use the bar mitzvah to show a coming of age. And there's other things like that similar, but there's nothing that's like set in stone like a rite of passage. Most people will use school and turning 18, like they graduate high school, and they think just because they're out of high school they're a man now. Or they turn 18, and 18 you're legally an adult, so they consider themselves a man. But there's no like just flip of a switch that turns you into a man once you turn 18 and once you graduate from school. And there's people who will be like, once they have sex for the first time, they think, oh, I'm a man now. You know what I mean? Stuff like that's not a real rite of passage. Our strength can only be tested through resistance, and our courage can only be tested through risk taking. So if you don't ever put yourself in these situations, you don't truly become a man. There's people who are in their 30s and 40s who think they're men just because of their age, right? But the thing is, some of these people are just grown boys. They're just oversized boys. And not to attack anybody, but that's like what it is. They don't ever go out and seek discomfort. They're cool just being comfortable where they're at, and they don't ever take any risks, and they just indulge in instant gratification type things like video games and porn and things like that to kind of cope with they never had a rite of passage. They still act like boys and never put themselves through discomfort or challenge, so they don't ever get the progression of become a man, because it's all a mental thing. It's not like something like, it's not as you wake up one day and you're a man. It's all through mental and the experience you've experienced throughout your life and going through these rites of passages. Now, modern men, people like me, people like you, if you're watching this, we don't have modern day rites of passages. So you have to make your own. You have to become your own man by putting yourself through discomfort and putting yourself through challenge and taking risks. Discomfort could be like going to the gym and building a better body, because it's obviously uncomfortable doing the workouts, but in doing so, you build mental resilience, you see yourself progress, and then doing that, it's uncomfortable. Risk taking, if you want to approach a girl and you're too scared to do it, then you don't have the courage to go and do it. Having courage is one of the main attributes of a man. Being courageous and being able to do things you don't want to do despite the fearfulness and still going and doing it, that's the key to being a man, is being courageous. And that can come in all shapes and sizes, like whether it's like someone's messing with you and they're trying to pick a fight and you shy off, or you stand up for yourself, and maybe a fight doesn't, but you still stand up for yourself and you're willing to get in that fight if you need to do so. That's an extreme example, but that's what courage is. And being able to do that gives yourself a certain sense of self-respect, and also shows that you have this courage, and it proves it to yourself, and it's going to change your brain chemistry, and you're going to become more of a man. And that's just with that area, like somebody who takes what he wants, goes after things that he wants to, whether he fails or succeeds, he has the courage to go try these things. Same with discomfort. Whenever you work a job you hate, you might need to do it just to pay the bills, but you need to do it. There's a necessity for it. Being able to stick through that discomfort is a quality of a man, and it's a rite of passage. But it gets to a point where if you're not trying to actively improve in that area of your life and you're just sticking through the discomfort for no reason, that says something about your courage as well. You're not doing it to be uncomfortable. You're doing it because you're comfortable there, even though it's that you're comfortable in the discomfort. You're not trying to make a change. And another rite of passage is being a leader, leading people to be a better version of themselves, leading people in something you're good at they're not good at. You develop leadership qualities, and that's a trait of a man. And then also just teaching people. Being able to teach is a skill that is a rite of passage, because in doing so, you're changing their lives. You're making them more knowledgeable. You're doing all these things. So the modern day rite of passage really depends on the person. You got the things that you want to do, be courageous enough to do them, be willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and be willing to go past your comfort zone. Take risks. That's really what it's all about nowadays, in my opinion anyways. And it's just it's lacking from back in the day. You know, back then you were forced to do it. Now it's, if you want to stay where you're at and just rot, you're able to. You're capable of doing it. You can be a grown man, but not fully be a man because you're not willing to get in these uncomfortable situations and put yourself in these spots that'll make you grow. Growth is all about new things and pushing yourself and being courageous enough to try them. Because if you're not courageous enough, you don't work on becoming more courageous, you're just going to be stagnant and you're not going to grow. So I recommend figuring out what your rite of passage is, whatever you're trying to improve on right now. Figure out what it is and go after it. Be courageous enough to go and make a change and go for it, because everybody's going to be different. Mine will be different than yours is. For my rite of passage right now, I would say would be making these videos, and it's developing a leadership skill for me, and it's developing, I'm teaching doing it too. So, and whenever I was first starting, I had to work up the courage to start posting these videos, because at first I wasn't wanting to do this. I was nerve-wracking for me. I didn't want to put myself out there into the world. I felt uncomfortable on camera. I couldn't talk as well, and there were so many things going through my head. But I worked up the courage to start posting, and it's doing well now. And I've definitely seen growth in myself, a lot of personal growth from doing this. So that was one of my personal rites of passage. There's been so many in my life: getting in the gym, working on myself, working on my social skills, working on my confidence, my self-image, things like that. It's all rites of passage, in my opinion. All of that builds up to become the man you are. And if you are one of those men in your 30s and 40s and you've been sitting in that comfort and you haven't been taking risks, highly recommend taking the risk. And you know if you're that person or not, so you don't need me to tell you that. You just know. But this whole video, if you're interested in the content, please subscribe, make some improvement videos. And besides that, getting goals, make that shit happen. I will see you in the next video.